All right. Good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday morning, September the 3rd, I hope. And I'm going to call this meeting of the Cape Fear RPO's Rural Technical Coordinating Committee, the RTCC, the TCC. We're going to call this meeting to order. And as we usually do, our first item, there we go. First item on the agenda is going to be our roll call. So I'm going to go down through the roll. If you're here, let me know. If I get to the end of the roll call and you didn't hear your name, I would ask that you please put your name and affiliation in the meeting Zoom chat so that I can have that documented in the meeting minutes. So, Helen Bunch.
Present.
Mo Meehan. Matt Kirkland. Nicole Morgan. Oh. Sorry, did I just miss? Nicole Morgan. Jeff Rupp. Kelsey Hammond. Bridget Spann. Robert Lewis.
Here.
Jason Robinson. Josh Ward. Madison Ward. Virginia Norris. Marcy Waters.
Present.
Christina Burke.
Good morning, I'm here.
Hey, good morning. Ron Meredith.
Here.
Adrian Cox.
Here.
Philip Hart.
Here.
Nazia Sarter.
Here.
Jim Ripkalbis.
I'm here.
Greer Templer.
Here.
Elizabeth Tucker. Yvonne Hatcher.
Here.
Joy Jacobs. Kathy Guidry.
Here.
Stephanie Ayers.
Here.
Sam Boswell is here. Daniel Adams.
Here.
All right. Let me just scroll real quick, make sure that I didn't miss anybody on the voting sheet. Checking. Okay. All right. We're good. We have a quorum. We will roll on. Also, as a fair disclaimer, we're going to have several roll calls today, so I'll try to be both brief with my description of things and appreciate your patience as we go through the roll calls on the different project lists that we're going to go through. Just wanted to give you a heads up. It'll be one of those meetings. So next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Do we have any questions or comments or concerns about the agenda? And if not, can I get a motion to approve it?
Stephanie Ayers motion.
Thank you, Stephanie. Can I get a second?
Helen Bunch second.
Thank you, Helen. Last chance for comment. Any comment on this? Seeing none, I'm gonna roll call the voting members. Helen Bunch.
Yes.
Robert Lewis.
Yes.
Marcy Waters.
Yes.
Christina Burke.
Yes.
Ron Meredith.
Yes.
Adrian Cox.
Yes.
Philip Hart.
Yes.
Nazia Sarter.
Yes.
Jim Calvis,
Yes.
Greer Templer,
Yes.
Yvonne Hatcher,
Yes.
Kathy Guidry,
Yes.
Stephanie Ayers, Sam Boswell, yes. Daniel Adams.
Yes.
Good deal. Thank you, everybody. Next, we have the approval of our meeting minutes from the TCC's meeting in August. That was August the 6th. If any questions or corrections to those minutes, if not, I would entertain a motion to approve them.
Stephanie Ayers.
I hear a motion from Stephanie. I have a second.
Second from Greer.
Thank you, Greer. Any other discussion on this item before we vote? Hearing none, seeing none. Helen Bunch,
Yes.
Robert Lewis,
Yes.
Marcy Waters,
Yes.
Christina Burke,
Yes.
Ron Meredith,
Yes.
Adrian Cox,
Yes.
Philip Hart,
Yes.
Nazia Sarter,
Yes.
Jim Calvis,
Yes.
Greer Templer,
Yes.
Yvonne Hatcher,
Yes.
Kathy Guidry,
Sorry. Yes.
you're totally fine. Stephanie Ayers,
Yes.
Sam Boswell, yes. Daniel Adams,
Yes.
excellent. Looks like I've got. Oh, hey, Joy, I see you there. I'll include you on the roll call for the minutes. Joy Jacobs. I can't, if you are speaking, I can't hear you, just so you know, but I've got it recorded in the minutes now that that you're present. Thanks for sending a chat. Okay. Next on the agenda is our public comment period. There is no one here in person to make public comment, nor did I receive any comments either by phone or by email and before the meeting. Is there anybody online who wishes to make public comment at this time? Okay, seeing none, we will move on. Okay, the next on our agenda, kind of the meat and potatoes of today, is a final look at our project lists for NCDOT's prioritization 8.0 cycle. Much of what I'm about to tell you and that we're going to go over is a refresher. It is not new. We've obviously been at this for several months, and several of you on this call, this is not your first time through this. But for the P 8.0 cycle, which our projects are due by the end of this month in September, the RPO is allowed 13 project submittals per mode. As a reminder, there are 6 modes. We're going to go through them individually. A majority of the projects on these lists come from previous rounds. That's just the nature of this process, that we submit projects multiple times to refine them and to kind of continually make them more competitive over time as we just play the game, basically. I'm going to ask for your kind of recommendation to the TAC today. They will, and I'll explain a few items on these lists that are still kind of pending. But then the cutoff will be next Friday on the 12th when the TAC meets to give their final approval of these projects, and then from then on it'll just be the technical side of me submitting them through the portal, the kind of GIS online portal that we use with the prioritization office. So just one last quick refresher about how we got to where we are for this process. Quick note on carryover projects. These are projects that have competed in the past and through meeting a couple of special criteria will compete in prioritization without us having to resubmit them. That list is in your packet. There's a couple of projects from the Columbus County Airport as well as a few highway projects across the region. I did want to note, this was kind of hanging after our last meeting, the NC 211 widening, specifically from Midway to Sunset Harbor, does not meet the qualification for a carryover. We double checked the records. And so that is why it will show up on our highway submittal list. That's not going to impact its score necessarily. It's just a matter of which list it ends up on. Does it end up on the carryover list or does it end up on our highway list? And for this time around, it did not meet the carryover qualifications, so it'll be recommended on our highway list, but wanted to follow up there. Throughout this process, RPO and DOT have been in close communication. Obviously, there's a little picture of the 3 funding buckets, statewide, regional, and division. Some of that is just playing the game of trying to see projected funding availability. Our projects, is there more money in the regional category, for example? And maybe that's where we're, general rule being statewide funds bigger projects all the way down to the division category. That's not going to fund your really, really expensive projects. So if, for example, there's only a lot of funding available at the division level, then we wouldn't want to be submitting ginormous projects. But anyway, that's kind of an ongoing, me and Adrian and Eric and Philip and Bill are kind of always looking at how to play that. The end of July, we had county stakeholder meetings with each of the 3 counties, combination of staff and elected officials. That was the kind of the final get together that then informed the draft lists that you all saw at our meeting last month on August 6th. And then bringing back final lists for you today. So what I'm going to do is, as we go through this, we're going to go one mode at a time, and there aren't very many changes, and I'm basically just going to highlight what those changes were from the draft list that we looked at last month. If you have any questions on that particular mode, then that would be the time to ask, and then we'll do a vote and a recommendation and move on from mode to mode. That's how we'll approach this. So the first, we're gonna go alphabetically. So first, our aviation projects. This list is largely the same from what you saw in August. There was one project, actually I think 2 projects at Wallace Pender that I had on the list, but they got funding, and so they're in the STIP already. We don't need to have those on here. And then also Columbus County's airport added that one on the very bottom, an airfield maintenance and storage facility project. I will note, specifically on these aviation projects, I am potentially going to have another few to add from the Cape Fear Regional Jetport in Brunswick County. I spoke to their engineering consultant last week, and he had just gotten back in the office and needed a little bit extra time to verify a few things. So that might, between now and the TAC, there might be a few added, but since we're not up against our limit of 13, that's not going to come at the expense of anything else on this list. And so if the TCC is willing to recommend this list, then if there are some added from Cape Fear Jetport, then I'll just communicate that to the TAC and let them know. And what I'd probably do is also send an email to this committee, just so that we're all aware of the projects that have been added, not trying to slip anything under the radar at the last minute. But any questions about airport projects? I'll try to answer them as best I can. I'm not hearing any questions. In that case, can I get a motion to recommend this project list for the TAC's consideration next week?
Jim Calvis, motion.
Thank you, sir. Can I get a second?
Second, Robert.
Thanks, Robert. Last chance. Any other questions, comments on aviation list? Seeing none, I don't see anything in the chat. Then I will do a quick roll call. Helen Bunch,
Yes.
Robert Lewis,
Yes.
Marcy Waters,
Yes.
Christina Burke,
Yes.
Ron Meredith,
Yes.
Adrian Cox,
Yes.
Philip Hart, if you were muted, Phil, I couldn't hear you, just letting you know. Nazia Sarter,
Yes.
Jim Rupp-Calvis,
Yes.
Greer Templer,
Yes.
Yvonne Hatcher,
Yes.
Joy Jacobs,
Yes.
Kathy Guidry,
Yes.
Stephanie Ayers,
Yes.
Sam Boswell, yes. Daniel Adams.
Yes.
Excellent. Just double checking. Just to have it on the record, Philip Hart.
Yes.
Perfect, thanks. Just doing one last check, see if anybody else had joined on. I missed them. Hey, Nicole, I see you in the chat there. I'll start having you as a Brunswick municipal voter. So I'll look to the chat. Nicole Morgan for the aviation list. Thanks, Nicole. And then Jeremy, I see you as well. I've got you on my list as an alternate, which is why I haven't called since Christina and Ron are both here. But we have projects related to Surf City later, so if you have questions, please don't hesitate to speak up. Okay. Excellent. Thanks, everybody. Moving on. Our next list is Bike Ped. This is roughly the same format that you've got in your packet. Just some tweaks for the screen. A couple of projects to note on here. So in the first third, the bottom two, so the ones that start B25, anytime you're looking at these spot IDs, those first two numbers, that's the year the project was entered. So any of these that say B25 are going to be new to this cycle because I just put them in this summer. So we added a multi-use path in Southport, basically from downtown to the ferry. That's kind of the first bit of the East Coast Greenway once it comes from Fort Fisher across on the ferry line and picks up into Brunswick County. That was on our kind of last couple of ones to evaluate, and I think that would be a good, especially with it being on the East Coast Greenway alignment, a good project to add to the list. And then that second one, constructing a sidewalk on the north side of East Oak Island Drive. As you may recall from our draft list in August, we had both a sidewalk segment in Oak Island as well as the multi-use path on the north side of East Oak Island Drive. That was part of the East Coast Greenway alternate route. After some discussion, and I think I saw that Taylor from the town is on. So if I say anything that doesn't sound correct, please let me know. But after talking with Matt, as well as feedback from one of the councilmen that's on our TAC, the town has already put out to bid a sidewalk segment that would have been within that multi-use path alignment. And so rather than resubmit a multi-use path, that half of it is going to be a sidewalk, presumably under construction within the next year, it would just make sense to finish that sidewalk. And both the town sidewalk project they've got out for bid and this one on our list, those combined would be the same segment that multi-use path would have covered. So instead of the multi-use path putting a sidewalk there on the north side of East Oak Island Drive, which likely is a physically better fit with limited right of way, and that would provide a sidewalk for the full commercial district in Oak Island on the north and south side of the road. And then discussions about a multi-use path, whether that be on Oak Island Drive or on Yacht Drive, those will be involved in future plans. I know it's in their land use plan and the bike ped plan's being updated right now. So anyway, that's a whole lot of context to say that I think the potentially more competitive project and the one that fits kind of the current conditions would be this sidewalk project. Just wanted to provide the story since it was a little bit newer on the list. And then really the only other change since last month, at the very bottom in Pender County, the Columbus County projects didn't change at all. But in Pender County, that third one, the multi-use path in Topsail Beach. So when we submitted this in P7, we submitted 3 segments of this multi-use path, kind of the full length of town. And this project was the northern segment from the commercial district all the way to the town line. And what we decided to do, since that was the best scoring, it went from Davis all the way up to Hispaniola, which is at the town line. Talked to Eric with Division 3, and we cut it in half. And so now from Davis to Tower Court is one half of that segment. And then a new project would be from Tower Court to Hispaniola. And that's going to go on to the division's list of bike ped submittals, with the idea that it can be more competitive because we'll be essentially cutting the cost in half of those projects. So those are the changes, kind of the updates to the bike ped list for P8. Are there any questions or comments on these projects as presented? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to recommend this list to the TAC.
The move.
Okay, I have a motion from Helen. Thank you. A second.
I'll second Kathy Indri.
Thank you, Kathy. Any other questions or discussions on the bike ped list? Okay, I'm going to go through the roll call. Helen Bunch,
Yes.
Nicole Morgan. Thank you. Robert Lewis,
Yes.
Marcy Waters,
Yes.
Christina Burke,
Yes.
Ron Meredith,
Yes.
Adrian Cox,
Yes.
Philip Hart,
Yes.
Nazia Sarter,
Yes.
Jim Rupp-Calvis,
Yes.
Greer Templer,
Yes.
Yvonne Hatcher,
Yes.
Joy Jacobs,
Yes.
Kathy Guidry,
Yes.
Stephanie Ayers,
Yes.
Sam Boswell, yes, and Daniel Adams.
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you, everybody.
Hi,
Moving.
Sam. This is Jason Robinson. I'm just now
Oh.
joined.
Okay, perfect. I got you.
I vote yes, by the way.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I got that noted here. Yes, thank you for letting me know. Okay, bike ped, check. Next, ferry. Okay, so this is probably where we got the most changes from the August. Yeah, that was the month before this one, the August meeting. So we just within the past couple days received, we being the planning organizations and divisions that are along the coast and therefore have ferry routes. Okay, received a list of ferry projects from the ferry division in which they kind of split up, kind of divvied out projects to us assigned projects to submit to all of the planning organizations. Um, Obviously, this looks like a pretty lengthy list. So what we ran into was, so in our planning region, we just have the Southport Fort Fisher ferry route, right? Some of these were kind of a recommended or assigned to Wilmington MPO. However, their board met, I believe it was last week, to vote on their project list.
Sam, this is Adrian. Can I interrupt just for a moment?
You sure can.
Thanks.
I would love to not talk.
Yeah. So if I can give some background on this, Ferry Division has had some changes in staff since since the last cycle of prioritization. And so new people coming into that. And we did some clarification on our side at division, which speaks to the point you were just about to make. So what I wanted to share with the group is that we are asked as divisions 1, 2, and 3, which are along the coast, with each of our partner planning organizations, such as Cape Fear RPO, to split the costs of these, which are considered regional projects, and we split them equitably among the 3 divisions, as well as our PO partners, each partner. So Division 3 has 6 partners, and all 6 partners, well, that's not true. All partners who are along the coast, pardon me, will take that upon themselves. It does not impact the ability for the planning organization or the division to have any say in what Ferry Division is doing. It's just that they know we rely on them to tell us what they need, and we split it equitably. And part of that is because there is a location where all work on land is done to clean, upfit, make changes, do maintenance on the ferries. It's shared by all the divisions as well, and the POs, so those partnering. So there will be a change on this where Sam does not have to take on any extra. So this list will be reduced because each PO will be asked to take on their projects so that it is equitably split. And it's just a minor, it's really just a checkbox for this spot process. Sorry, that's a long-winded way of saying Sam's list is going to be reduced a little bit, and he can speak to that, but I just wanted to share that this is one of the cases where one of the modes is in charge of managing what their needs are and helping us to simplify it and make it equitable across the spot process.
Yes. Yeah, thanks, Adrian, for clarifying that. Yeah, so like if you'll recall from our list in August, there were some projects listed on there from the Mans Harbor Shipyard, which aren't on the screen right now. And in the past, when we've done that, like Adrian was saying, it's kind of a shared kind of partnership of submitting projects for the ferry system. And in those cases, some of those that were for the shipyard, the rationale being that those are projects that are in some way connected to every route because of the maintenance and service it provides. But so we're still working out, ironing out some of the details on the logistics of projects to submit. But what I've got here, this was the kind of recommended projects on the Fort Fisher to Southport route. And as you'll see, several of them look very similar, and what they are is they're different ways of bundling improvements, basically. So you've got a project on there that would be a new river class ferry vessel, but then you've got another one that would be the new vessel and a new ramp. at one end of the route, or a vessel and a ramp and a dorms improvements. And basically this is a way to see, as they're measuring things like a kind of cost effectiveness, cost to all the different benefits that these improvements could provide, and trying to see which way to kind of play the scoring game, so to speak. But I guess what would be, Adrian, in your best estimation, should we kind of recommend moving this list forward and then continue to iron out the details in the next few days before
Yeah,
TC?
I agree. I think that we can modify this. I would think that we should take a vote now, understanding that it may be modified in an email to the group prior to going to TAC.
Okay. Are there any specific questions? So instead of me kind of rambling to no end, are there any questions
And
or
maybe
concerns?
I can make that motion if you'd like.
Okay. So a motion from Adrian to kind of move forward on the ferry process.
Can I ask for clarification first?
Yeah.
Uh,
In
Are
a
you-
clarification in what way?
What, you're saying it may be modified, and is that because you haven't had the opportunity to ask questions about what's here, or what would be the reason that it would be modified?
I think, and Adrian, you can correct me if
Well, I can just say, Helen, we had an internal conversation. We just received this list from Ferry Division this week, so days ago or yesterday. Was that yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. So we had a meeting internally with division and the POs, and one planning organization was confused as to how to move this forward in such a quick time span, considering that a lot of our 6 POs, a lot of people need to have approval quickly. And so we are going to make changes based on some clarification we got from Ferry Division. So in the last 48 hours, we've received clarification on some items that were added to Sam's list, given the conversation yesterday. And now he won't need to have those additions. And rather than explain which those are, we're just going to we have some things we have to iron out behind the scenes. And so we're just going to approve this. My recommendation and motion is to accept this list as is until we clarify that information again with the partnerships, because we just weren't able to do that before this meeting. We got halfway through what we need to do, but we haven't clarified it with all our partners. And that's why you'll see a change.
And what those changes would be is simply some of these would come off of the RPO's list.
To go back to making it equitable again.
Right. Because some of these we added in case other planning organizations weren't able to get them on their list and approved. And so we took on a few extras since we had extra spots. But it's not a matter of really kind of changing the scope of projects as much as it is, I have here 13 projects, but maybe it will, only come down to my responsibility to submit 9 of them, just as an example. That's when we're talking about changes, that's what we're talking about, is simply the administrative details of who is the one physically submitting them. Does that make sense, Helen?
What up? Thank you.
Okay, so we do have a motion out by Adrian to do that, to approve this list, and we'll move forward and get additional clarification and send that back to the group. Is there a second? Can I get a second to move forward with that?
I'll second it, Kathy.
Hey, Kathy, thank you. Any final questions before I roll call? Okay. Bunch,
Yes.
Nicole Morgan. Thank you. Robert Lewis,
Yes.
Jason Robinson,
Yes.
Marcy Waters,
Yes.
Christina Burke,
Yes.
Ron Meredith,
Yes.
Adrian Cox,
Yes.
Philip Hart,
Yes.
Nazia Sarter, Nazia, I couldn't hear you, just so you know.
Yeah, I said yes.
Okay,
Can you hear me
gotcha.
now?
I
Okay.
can, thank you. Jim Calvis,
Yes.
Greer Templar,
Yes.
Yvonne, Yvonne had to drop off for another meeting. Joy Jacobs,
Yes.
Kathy Guidry,
Yes.
Stephanie Ayers,
Yes.
Sam Boswell, yes. Daniel Adams.
Yes.
Excellent. Thanks, everybody. I know we've already said this a couple times, but just to be very clear, I will follow up with this group prior to the TAC's meeting next Friday so that we're all on the same page with what's happening. So thank you for your patience and flexibility on that. Okay. Cruising along. Next, our list of highway projects. Again, this is largely unchanged from the list you saw last meeting. It's not a change, but just a clarification, as I mentioned earlier, that fourth one down in the Brunswick County pocket is the widening of 211 from 906 to Sunset Harbor. That's one segment that was not a carryover, and so we're planning to resubmit it through this list. The remaining segment of 211 that goes from Sunset Harbor to US 17 is on the project submittal list for our partners over at GSATs. So, especially for our Brunswick County folks, the whole 211 corridor there is accounted for. We also added on, it's going to be a modified version of those turn lanes on NC 87 and BSL. As a, this one was a good candidate for a low cost, high impact, scored very well, but just tweaking it to exclude the one intersection at 50 Lakes. But the other intersections also in need of improvement, and again, 87 being one of the major Brunswick County corridors. So that one was added on. And then I don't think we had any other. The last one in Columbus County there, the intersection improvements at 410 and US 76. I think that has a better chance at scoring highly in place instead of the Cerro Gordo bypass. Those were the two kind of vying for that fourth spot in our Columbus County pocket of projects. And then obviously we'll have an updated that second one in Pender County, the Ridgewood Avenue quadrant intersection at 53 and 117. That's one that has evolved over the years, and we'll kind of make some tweaks in how that's submitted in the online portal. But really, overall, not a lot of changes to this list since the August meeting. Have any questions about this list? Anything from the group?
Is the interchange for 211 and 17 was a carryover?
Great question. Yes, that is correct. It was a carryover, and so it's going to get rescored. Okay, well, if there aren't any other questions, can I get a motion to recommend this list to the TAC?
So moved.
Thank you, Helen. Can I get a second?
Jim Rupcal, second.
Thank you, Jim. Okay. Seeing no other questions, I'm gonna do roll call. Helen Bunch,
Yes.
Nicole Morgan. Thank you. Robert Lewis,
Yes.
Jason Robinson,
Yes.
Marcy Waters. I couldn't hear you, Marcy, if you were there.
Yes, sorry.
There you are. I got you. No worries. Christina Burke,
Yes.
Ron Meredith,
Yes.
Adrian Cox,
Yes.
Philip Hart,
Yes.
Nazia Sarter,
Yes.
Jim Rupkalvis,
Yes.
Greer Templer,
Yes.
Joy Jacobs,
Yes.
Kathy Guidry,
Yes.
Stephanie Ayers,
Yes.
Sam Boswell, yes. Daniel Adams.
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you, everyone. Next on our list is the rail projects. I don't have any changes to this list since you saw it in August. If anybody has any questions, let me know. But I'm not gonna really explain too much because the rail division is kind of they know what they're looking for and they strategize it very well. Any questions on rail projects? Okay, hearing none, can I get a motion to recommend approval of this list? Or to, I guess, to recommend it to the TAC?
This is Kathy Guidry. I recommend it. Make the
Thanks.
motion.
Thank you, Kathy. I have a motion from Kathy. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Helen. Any other comments or questions before I roll call? Okay. Roll call. Helen Bunch,
Yes.
Nicole Morgan. Thank you. Robert Lewis,
Yes.
Jason Robinson,
Yes.
Marcy Waters,
Yes.
Christina Burke,
Yes.
Ron Meredith,
Yes.
Adrian Cox,
Yes.
Philip Hart,
Yes.
Nazia Sarter,
Yes.
Jim Rupkalvis,
Yes.
Greer Templer,
Yes.
Joy Jacobs,
Yes.
Kathy Guidry,
Yes.
Stephanie Ayers,
Yes.
Sam Boswell, yes. Daniel Adams.
Yes.
Good deal. And then last is public transportation or transit. There have been no changes to this list, mostly just for informational purposes. Talked with Brunswick Transit about keeping this park and ride on the list. And this was a very similar question, or not question, conversation we had with Pastoran last week of, kind of long range planning some of these types of park and ride or shuttle services. And I reminded Yvonne when we were talking about this, when we submit projects this way, we're looking, best case scenario, that if it gets funded and scheduled in the STIP, that this is, at nearest 5 or 6 years from now. And we had some, and are having some discussions in Pender County about various options for park and ride as part of the Pender County CTP. But in my opinion, I felt it was one because it hasn't been adopted as part of that CTP, that perhaps P8 might be a bit premature to have that on this list. Whereas if the Pender County CTP continues to progress, and we have that wrapped up and adopted, possibly before P9, then that might be, we might add projects related to that on this list in that cycle. But anyway, that's just additional, I guess, commentary on ideas of different transit opportunities throughout the region that I wanted to give context to, just while, this list for P8 remains unchanged from when you saw it last month. But are there any questions about transit projects?
So Sam, this is Kathy.
Hey,
Hey, so I'm sorry, since I'm new at this, so can you explain to me how this group plays a part in the expansion vehicles that I will try to get through our grant process with FTA? Or is this something different that's on this project description?
this is similar, but my understanding is that it's also a little bit different than your normal the normal process that you get new vehicles through, and effectively this would help reduce the cost of a new vehicle for you, rather than the typical, I guess, way that you get a new vehicle.
Okay, so I know that I'll be applying for the non-STI grant for, whether we'll get it or not, but 2 expansion vehicles for 27, year
Mhm.
27. So I'm understanding that from you, this might be something different from that.
Yes, this would be something different,
Okay.
and it
great.
wouldn't happen as quickly. So it's
Okay.
good to pursue both of those, I think.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions on transit projects? Okay, can I get a motion to recommend this list to the TAC?
I'll make a motion. It's Kathy again.
Thanks, Kathy. Can I get a second?
Second, Robert.
Thanks, Robert. Any other questions? Comments on transit projects? Don't see anything in the chat, then I'll do the roll call. Helen Bunch,
Yes.
Nicole Morgan. Thank you. Robert Lewis,
Yes.
Jason Robinson,
Yes.
Marcy Waters,
Yes.
Christina Burke,
Yes.
Ron Meredith,
Yes.
Adrian Cox,
Yes.
Philip Hart,
Yes.
Nazia Sarter,
Yes.
Jim Ripkalvis,
Yes.
Greer Templer,
Yes.
Joy Jacobs,
Yes.
Kathy Guidry,
Yes.
Stephanie Ayers,
Sorry. Yes.
you're good, thanks. Sam Boswell, yes. Daniel Adams,
Yes.
good deal. All right, exhale. That wraps up our P8 project lists for the 6 modes. Thank you for your patience through that. Again, I already said it, but I'll say it again. We've got till the end of this month, September. That's the current deadline for submitting projects in Spot Online, which is the online JS portal that we put projects in. If things change, or like things that I need to follow up with you on, like the ferry projects, I will still be sending out emails throughout this month, so that you're all aware of what's going down. But as it stands right now, by the end of this month, we'll have this wrapped up. Projects will be submitted, and then we can expect project scores sometime next spring, late spring, perhaps. So this has been a busy couple of months with this process, but I appreciate all of your assistance throughout it. It's a big thing. So The next and really the last kind of meaty thing that I have on the agenda is functional class. This is again something that I've brought kind of before the group multiple times over the past few meetings. This is something that, at least at this scale, we only do every 10 years. This is a process that follows kind of the wrap up of the census. And that is to go through each of the roadways and double check if their functional class, which is just kind of a designation they receive, as it sounds, based off of the intended or the actual function of the roadway, how many people they're moving, what type of land access they're providing, things like that, and make sure that the designation, that the classification is still appropriate for what in reality is happening. So this has been a process that I've been working on with Nausea as we've gone through and just double checked, are there roadways that, I guess, let me not get ahead of myself. I have slides for a reason. So a functional class, we're looking at how they move traffic, how much land access they provide. And it's, we're looking at things like speed limits, like, lane and shoulder width, like the physical design of the roadway. And this has lingering effects for things like future roadway design, funding eligibility, maintenance, things like that. The basic terms, when you're looking at functional class, they're on the right side of this, or no, that's not the right, that's the left side of the screen. Arterials, collectors, and local roads. This process, we break that open in a little bit more depth to kind of 4 subcategories of arterial, which is primarily, moving a lot of people and also moving people, far distances. And then 2 categories of collector and then local road. And so essentially what this process involved was going through and evaluating, okay, is this, this road is classified currently as a local road, but holy cow, in the year 2025 compared to, a decade or more ago when this was last evaluated, there's been a lot of growth. This road's moving a lot more traffic than just a, local kind of neighborhood street type of road, which in our region is not uncommon. I don't think I'm breaking news to say that there's been a lot of growth. So first went through this in June and sent it to DOT. There's a review committee that Nausea is a part of that they have, kind of gone through and provided comments. They sent that back in July. And then spent August kind of going through and double checking, making sure that, we're on the same page. If we're seeing the roadways differently, trying to understand, have multiple set of eyes on it, basically, to make sure that these, if we reclassify a roadway, that there is justification. So what now I'm going to do is just go through, I included this in the agenda packet revision that I sent yesterday with just maps and then a list of each of the proposed recommendations. I'm going to kind of highlight a few of them, but not necessarily go one by one. There's 46 in total. I guess roughly some of them are technically combined segments, but as I have it labeled on the map, 46 recommended changes. And going to be asking your recommendation for the TAC to see this next week. And then at that point, that's kind of our final list that we're sending to this review committee so that they can do kind of last round of checks and then kind of bundle that with the rest of the planning organization's recommended changes and send that off to FHWA in November. So that's the time frame we're looking at. So zoomed out, you can kind of see there's kind of bunches, kind of clusters of recommended changes across the RPO. I'm going to zoom in on those and just highlight a few. And then obviously, if you have any questions, let me know. So this is mostly showing what I want you to see here, other than a couple of, there's, smaller changes kind of in remote spots, like the main street there in Lake Waccamaw, for example, but just showing an upgrade to US 701 coming from South Whiteville down into Tabor City, and then also an upgrade of NC 410 coming from US 74, again, all the way down to where it intersects with US 701 before heading into Tabor City and then further on into South Carolina. Also note, of all of these, they're upgrades with the exception of that first one, which is US 76. Traffic on that having, dropping a little bit, kind of dropping that down instead of it being category 3 of other principal arterial, dropping that down to a minor arterial. For much of that segment, it drops from the 4-lane that US 74, 76 is down to a 2-lane. Zooming in a little closer, you see a few of these segments here, kind of on the north side and the west side of Whiteville. This again zooms in on the Tabor City and related area, kind of southeast of that. A few of these segments collecting traffic, both kind of leading into South Carolina. This is up in the kind of northwest Delco, almost up to Sandyfield, Regalwood area, upgrading. I'm blanking on the name of that road. The road that kind of parallels US 74, 76, and then also upgrading a few of those segments that go to International Paper and what's the one on the far west side? But anyway, upgrading those both as collectors of the local traffic, but also road segments experiencing a heavy amount of truck traffic going to those.
Is that 421, Sam?
No, this
West.
a little further west than 421. Dropping down into Brunswick County, obviously on the kind of the west side of that long stretch of NC 906 going from US 17 all the way down, headed towards NC 211, but also upgrades to East Boiling Springs Road as a major collector, from kind of pulling in all of the neighborhood traffic, channeling it back out to NC 87, similar down on Cougar Road, and then up further north, Danford Road being one of the major kind of east to west corridors in that pocket of the county. You either have to go, if you're on 87 or 906, you either got to go down to NC 211 or up to Danford to kind of get across that area. One of the more jumbled clusters, simply because that's where just a lot of people are, upgrades to 211, specifically the segment that is actively being widened to a 4-lane. A few upgrades throughout Southport, bumping them from local road to a minor collector as the city continues to grow in population and size. Similarly in Oak Island and Caswell, upgrades both to the main roads, East Oak Island Drive, for example, as a major collector, and then Beach Drive as another one of the main east to west corridors accessing the town. And then also, of course, both the bridges, 133 and 906. And then moving northeast up into Pender County. So some upgrades to a segment of US 421, as well as Malpas Corner Road, kind of connecting that gap from 421 to NC 53. And then a brief segment there within the town. What was that one again? Number 39. Yeah, Wilmington Street. And then upgrading NC 53, basically from I-40 headed out towards Jacksonville. And then the last one, zooming in on the Surf City area. So upgrades to both NC 210 and NC 50 coming across the bridge and onto the mainland, both turning left there at the intersection and headed off to US 17 that way, but also continuing up in the direction of Jacksonville. And then with upgrades there to Shepherd's Road and Watts Landing Road, just from local up to minor collector. Again, as there's more development on Watts Landing, and then, you know, Shepherd's, there's a lot of school traffic there. So I know it can get pretty in the weeds pretty quick, but one, I guess, way to summarize these identified road segments are just kind of the main corridors where there's been major growth over the last decade. And so these roadways are functioning, pretty much all of these are, I think with the exception of one or two, are a functional class recommendation moving up, meaning they are handling more vehicles, they're handling more traffic than they were 10 or so years ago. But are any questions on any of these? I'm not hearing any questions. I don't see anything in the chat.
Hey, Sam, I actually do have a quick question. It's Greer.
Hi, Greer.
Hi, so I was looking at the materials provided in the packet, and it looks like you do have the Mako Road section listed. I just wanted to make sure we're still on the same page there.
Oh, yes, you're absolutely right. I didn't, yeah, I forgot to mention that in the overview map. Yes, so the Mako Road NC 87 segment that you've got in your planning boundary, yes, we're on the same page to just continue that. Let me, I guess, back up. You can barely see, it's kind of covered up by that middle inset D box, but upgrading that roadway all the way to the intersection with 74, 76.
Great, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Yeah, that's yeah, good one to double check on. I'm not hearing any other questions. In that case, we don't technically need a motion, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. Can I get a motion to recommend this list for the TAC when they meet next week?
Motion by Greer.
Thanks, Greer. Can I get a second?
This is Jason. I'll second.
Thanks, Jason. Last chance for any questions or any comments on this. Again, I know this is a very kind of technical, dry thing to look at. Okay, hearing no other comments, I'm going to go through the roll call. Helen Bunch,
Yes.
Nicole Morgan, I saw that Kelsey Hammond joined. Do a roll call vote for the functional class list. Kelsey, I'm not sure if you can hear me. Robert Lewis,
Yes.
Jason Robinson,
Yes.
Marcy Waters,
Yes.
Christina Burke,
Yes.
Ron Meredith,
Yes.
Adrian Cox,
Yes.
Philip Hart,
Yes.
Nazia Sarter,
Yes.
Jim Ripcalvis,
Yes.
Greer Templer,
Yes.
Joy Jacobs,
Yeah.
Yes.
Kathy Guidry,
Yes.
Stephanie Ayers,
Yes.
Sam Boswell, yes. Daniel Adams.
Yes.
Oh, there, I see you, Nicole. Thanks. Okay, good deal. Thanks, everybody. I know those are two kind of chunkier things to go through. Thank you for your patience on that. I don't really have any other updates. There's just a single STIP update in the packet. Just a rumble strips project. Those are pretty typical to have there in those revisions. But I don't trying to think if there's nothing else that I have to add from an RPO report. So I'll move along. Stephanie, do you have any new updates or anything from the ports today?
I do not.
Okay, thank you very much. Ferry, you'll hear more from me later about Ferry sometime this week or next week. Division 3, Adrian or Eric, I think you're both on there. I don't know.
I'll present. This is
Okay.
Adrian. Thank you, Sam. Appreciate it. If you'll move forward. Thank you. Just for the sake of minimizing everyone's time, if you'll move forward, Sam, to show our projects within let dates, projects that are in development. We don't have any others that are planned to be let this year, but the list is available. If you'll move forward, Sam. These projects are the 4 current construction projects that we have in the Cape Fear RPO region. Want to bring to your attention the second project, the BR-0139. It's a bridge over Sand Hill Creek on NC 133. NCDOT just did released a press release this morning, letting everyone know that the project is going to be open this Friday. Although it does show the percent complete of around 70%, that's just due to a 6 months extension of the contract and additional work that will be done for this project, but it will be open to traffic this Friday. So if anyone needs any information or a follow-up on this, please let us know. We just wanted to let everyone know that we were able to get this open very early. And then moving on from, well, the only other thing I'll mention is that the 5021 project, which is a huge project in Brunswick County along 211, it is about 59% complete. So we're moving forward, forward on that project and doing really well, even considering storm setbacks last fall. And moving forward, Sam, thank you. These are maps of the projects that are included in your packet. And then we'll go to our projects that are a maintenance. Those are usually our resurfacing and repaving projects. Those projects are listed there. Some of them are coming on new to the list, and the ones at the top are closest to completion. We organize them by percent complete. Again, those percent completes aren't always indicative of the project being open or not. It's just a matter of what we have to do on the back end as far as our construction, engineering, inspections. And moving forward, we do have a list, or this is the list. The next one is a map of our highway maintenance improvement program, which is called our HMIP. It is available for all the public to see on Go and See. So we encourage everyone to share this information. It's a 5-year capital improvement program where each of our maintenance crews goes into each county and reviews roads that have not been in the 5-year cycle, to double check them for maintenance and resurfacing or repaving. And so it's always a cyclical 5-year program. And yeah, if anyone has any questions or has recommendations to have us look at some of those streets or facilities that they think still need improvements, we always let our maintenance groups know to go out and they drive those lengths of that road to double check and ensure that we are maintaining those. So, and we do receive those requests on a regular basis, and we add them to the list, and they either get added or they are scheduled for the 5-year program. So if anybody has anything, oh, the question, I'm sorry, and I just saw that question about the definitive opening for NC 133, and it is this Friday. And I will send that to you, Nicole. I'll send you that press release. And if anyone else needs it, let me know. Thank you.
Thanks, Adrian. Anybody have any questions for?
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. And yes, seeing the chat, Jim, we'll get you that press release as well. We'll send it to you also.
I did forward it on to you, Sam, as well, if you'd like to forward those as well, just so you know.
Perfect. I can do that. Thanks, Eric. Okay. Next on our agenda is Division 6. Philip, do you want to go?
Sure.
through the report?
Yes, sir. All right. So just a map where Columbus County have that left side before you get to the coastal. Was that Brunswick?
Mhm.
Our next sheet will be ongoing project that we've had going on for quite a while. We're roughly a little over 60% complete. This is the NC 87 at NC 11 up there near the Sandy Field area or township. The revised completion date on that is February 27. We're still working on the interchange and ramps there at the two NC primary routes. Next slide. This is our contract on US 701. It's basically functionally complete. I believe the final payment markings are done, and we'll look to remove this from any future reports. There may be a little patchwork or punch list type items that would remain in order to close that out, but everything will basically be complete from a public standpoint. Next project. This is our US 74, 76 corridor, kind of over near the Lake Waccamaw area. These are two projects that were combined. You've got work on the Old Lake Road to the right, and then you've got the interchange there at Johnsontown Road. We're 86% complete. I think the lighting at the roundabout's been complete. I want to say that pavement markings may have been completed, and I'm not sure on the shoulders or vegetation, but it looks like we had a revised completion date changed to the March of 26. So they still have a couple of months to kind of wrap this one up. But that kind of sums this one up for our next project. Will be the US 74, future I-74 corridor. Got a couple of projects throughout the corridor, I would say, for drainage and pavement rehabilitation and bridge rehab. It's kind of hard to say here, but that middle portion there that has it kind of called out, that's Lake Waccamaw. So you've got some begin construction, end construction on various segments of the corridor. But all that work's still in progress, and they're looking to have that resurfacing this month, September. So we're at 15% complete on that. Estimated completion is June of 27. Next project. think that might be the last one. Okay. So this is, again, our US 74 corridor. A lot of the work's being done right at the Robinson County line, Columbus County line, in regards to the Cape Fear RPO. But it has not started up yet, or maybe just may be starting up. And we've just not made any kind of pay records request on this project. So Barn Hill's got it. Estimate completion work on this for pavement and bridge rehab is June of 27. And then the remaining part of the report are kind of a list of our highway maintenance improvement projects regarding asphalt treatments or resurfacing operations, some minor widening, milling, things of that nature. And then we've got, I want to say, a couple highway safety projects, bridge projects that are slated. We've got 2 that were noted to be let in 8 in August. I don't know that those have been awarded yet. But as you see, there's the list of kind of the running mill projects that are kind of scheduled to be let in the near future, distant future. And then our last page there is kind of a larger style roadway type projects that are slated for improvements in the area. So that concludes my report. My contact information is at the bottom. If you have questions, please follow up. Thank you.
Thank you, Philip. Appreciate you. Does anybody have any questions for Philip about Division 6 work? Okay. All right. Well, good deal. Thanks again, Philip. Next is Nazia with TPD updates.
Thanks, Sam. As Sam had mentioned about the functional classification committee, we are meeting again September 23rd to review all final comments. Just wanted to give that brief update that's not in the packet. And then I have a few CTP updates for Columbus County Comprehensive Transportation Plan. Sam can provide additional information if there is any, but the project team is scheduling presentations to local adopting agencies. During the month of August, the project team has presented the CTP to the town of Tabor City, town of Brunswick, and town of Sandyfield. All 3 towns have adopted the CTP, which is great news. And as far as I was told last time, the project team presented to the town of Chadburn on September 2nd. Sam, you can follow up with that if you have anything. And then I guess you had also presented to the city of Whiteville on August 23rd. Finally, the project team is working with the remaining adopting agencies to set up presentations for the rest of them, and they'll keep us updated as they go along. Sam, did you have any updates for those last 2 towns?
Yeah. So so for Chadburn, we presented last night. I think Jason's still on. And anyway, so we presented last night, and the group there adopted the CTP, and I think everything went well. So thanks to Jason for helping us set that up. My apologies I think I sent you so we're presenting to the city of Whiteville on September 23rd, later this month. And then actually, this is a very recent addition. I'm presenting to the town of Bolton tonight. So we hopefully will have a few more adoptions this month. Possibly another if I can get it scheduled, but we'll continue scheduling those throughout this month and into October, and provide those updates as we go.
Thanks, Sam. I probably wrote that down wrong. So for Pender County CTP, last time the committee met was on July 28th. We finalized the draft bicycle, pedestrian, and multi-use path recommendations. And our next meeting is next week on September 8th. We'll be reviewing the rail and transit recommendations during that meeting. And we'll also be going over the volume and capacity maps to see which facilities are over capacity or nearing capacity for the CTP. Everything else is in your packet. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nazia. Anybody have any questions on anything CTP related? Okay. I anticipate just, I guess, on the topic of Columbus County, that we'll present that to the RPO committees during the November meetings. Try to have as many of the local adoptions taken care of as possible. And then present that both to this group and then to the TAC for their endorsement. But I saw earlier Kim was online. Kim, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Do you have any IMD updates for us today?
I do not have any IMD updates for you.
Okay, good deal. We'll move right along then. Thanks for being here.
Mhm.
Greer, do you have any Wilmington NPO updates to share with us today?
Hey Sam, don't have a ton of updates for you all other than our phase 1 of public outreach for our Safe Streets and Roads for All Comprehensive Safety Action Plan is going on right now. We're going to be doing 3 phases of public outreach, and right now the focus is on existing conditions, and we are getting very, very close to the end of finalizing our MTP. So over the next couple of months, we're going to be going through the process of presenting to our TCC and our board, and then we're going to be looking for adoption here in the near future.
Good deal. And then I don't think Elizabeth was able to join today, so we don't have any GSATs updates. So I think that wraps it all up. Does anybody online or anybody on the group have any other questions or comments or anything they want to bring up for discussion while we're all still logged in?
Sam, this is Adrian with Division. Just wanted to let everyone know I put a link to the press release regarding 133 opening on Friday in the chat. And I also sent it to you, Helen, Jim, and Nicole. So anyone else needs it, just let us know.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Adrian.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments to toss out for the good of the group? Okay. Well, then in that case, we will adjourn. We've got meetings on October 1st and November 5th still on the calendar. Be on the lookout for emails from me that we may not necessarily need to meet in October, so I'll follow up on that. But just wanted to kind of let you know that's a possibility right now. But anyway, all that to say, thank you all very much for being here and sitting through all the material we had to cover today. I appreciate your help and your support on all the transportation planning work we do across the region. And I hope you all have a great rest of your Wednesday and the rest of your week.
You too.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, man, appreciate it.
Nice job.
Thanks, y'all. Thanks, y'all. Appreciate it.
Hey Sam, you still on?
Oh, yeah. What's up? Here,
Did
give me
you
just.
see?
give
Did you
me-
see the email for the bike ped stuff for the testing spreadsheet?
I saw that it exists, but